know.
Yeah.
And if you're a veteran here in the Central Valley, you've seen Lucas probably at several events here and supporting our veterans here in the Valley. And Lucas, tell me about your position. You have a unique story,
Okay.
and tell me about your position as the chief assistant there.
Sure. Yeah, I'm the assistant chief for the Center for Development and Civic Engagement. That is a pretty long title. Some of you may know us as Voluntary Services. That was our former name. We still have Voluntary Services, but it falls under the CDCE. You know, as the assistant chief, my primary role is our internal operations. So managing the various programs that we have on site, utilizing volunteers, donations, and our work study program. And then I also assist my chief with our civic engagement out in the community. So out in events, serving on different committees, you know, just really partnering with all the veteran service organizations like AMVETS and many of the others here in the local area.
Yeah, so a lot of the VSOs have seen you in those different events. And
Oh, absolutely.
there's several events we're going to talk about today. So if you joined us at amvetsca.org or you're on the Facebook at AMVETS Department of California, my name's Lance Cardoza, and every month we bring you AMVETS Live. So in this month, we want to talk about many things that you have going on and some needs that are out there that are surrounding around some of the programs and that you support with your organization. But before we get started too, is your passion behind what you do today and serving veterans. You served yourself, proud
Yes.
Marine.
Yes, sir.
And talk to me a little bit about that journey and how you found yourself working in this sector of still serving as a military veteran.
Yeah, absolutely. So right out of high school, joined the Marine Corps, proudly served for my first 4 years, did my deployments, all that. Got out, you know, I got injured in the Marine Corps, couldn't be in the infantry anymore, and decided to get out. And then just shy of a year later, got recalled for the Iraq War. Went over there right at tail end of the initial invasion. Ended up bouncing around a bit out of the 100 and so Marines that we were part of this combat augmentee unit is what the PC people eventually decided to call us. 18 of us decided to volunteer and stay in Iraq after Baghdad fell. And so we bounced around for a minute until we got attached to the 323 out of Louisiana Reserve Unit. We ended up acting as the battalion commander, security team leader, which he was also the acting governor for the whole Wasip province. So when I was done with that, you know, got back out of the Marines, kind of bounced around different jobs, real estate, nightclub promotions, working at resorts, doing all different kinds of stuff. And eventually went to work for Ashford University as a military university advisor. Did that for 8 years, helping serve my vets, you know, active duty veterans, their dependents, helping them get their education. There I actually finished my bachelor's in poli-sci and then went on to do a Master of Public Administration. When I was done there, you know, at that point, had been married, had my first child, and was looking to move out of San Diego.
Did you feel you still wanted to serve veterans
I
at that
did.
point? You were still trying to find a way.
Well, you know, is serve in some capacity, whether
Yeah.
that was for veterans, you know, at the VA, probably VA and Forest Service were the top two I was looking for. We had kind of outlined, you know, what states and areas we were willing to move to. And then, you know, saw a job posting for here at the Fresno Medical Center for credentialing and privileging. And it just happened to be halfway between my parents and my wife's parents. They're in LA. My parents are up in Northern California by Chico. And so we settled here. Did that for 4 years. You know, it was a good, important job doing background, essentially credentialing and privileging is doing background checks of the doctors and nurses, make sure that, you know, they're got all their credentials and not too many malpractices, keeping my fellow vets safe, right? But I knew that wasn't what I wanted to do in game, right? And so, but I was very patient looking for the right position. And one came along as for, at that time, it wasn't the assistant chief, it was, longer title, the supervisory voluntary service specialist for the CDCE.
The military,
Yeah.
they always try and find a way to, they want to keep you on task.
Right.
And create another acronym.
Yeah. So, and I really didn't know fully what I was getting into. I mean, my boss, Mary, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, she was supposed to
Yes,
join us as
Mary,
well,
yeah.
wasn't Mary Golden. She wasn't able to make it. She's not feeling too hot today.
Yeah, it's going
So
around.
yeah, it is. But she prepped me pretty good, but there's no way to prep you for this job. I mean, it really is a wide spectrum. I don't know what's going to happen on any given day.
Yeah.
Or
if you're just going to be asked to be on a live stream
Right,
for
yeah.
AMVETS Live at any moment.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of stuff to get to, because you were saying you don't know what's going to happen,
Yeah.
because there's a lot going on that you're working on. And
Sure.
and so let's talk about some of those things. So with your day-to-day, I know there's some events coming up, and we want to tell somebody that there is a groundbreaking that's coming up this Thursday. There's also National Vietnam Veterans Day coming up, and more. There's a golf tournament. There's a lot, and we're going to get to that here on AMVETS Live. But Lucas, talk to me about some of the biggest focal points and needs that veterans are facing now, and with your organization, how you're serving them.
Sure. So the simplest way to put what we do is we try to bridge the gap between what the federal government can do for our vets and what the community can. And we do that through volunteerism, donations, monetary and in kind, and our work study program. The work study program, briefly, it is a program specifically for veterans or dependents utilizing the GI Bill. They can actually come work for us at the VA, $15.50 an hour, and we only require a minimum of 18 hours a week. That way it provides plenty of time for study time, family, what have you, and still be able to earn a little extra money on top of that BAH that you get from the GI Bill.
And there's some needs out there too. I was talking to our ED here with AMVETS Department of California, Smokey Rickard, and he was talking about DAV transportation that you guys work with to provide for our veterans to get around to their appointments or whatever need be. There's a need for drivers.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have several programs that we have a need for volunteers and work studies for. The DAV transportation program is a great example of that. Drivers that will go not only locally here in Fresno and Clovis, but to outer areas and pick up veterans to and from their appointments. We also have our well, I should say it's called customer service now. We're transitioning to veteran services. If you are a veteran that has received care at VA, you would recognize our people out there. They're the ones in the red vests assisting veterans in wheelchairs and in a wide range of ways throughout the facility. We have a lot of other programs, My Life, My Story, that transcribes veterans, life stories of military service.
I love that.
We have No Veteran Dies Alone, to ensure exactly like the title says. We have Compassionate Contact Corps that's reaching out via telephone a couple times a week to isolated veterans, keeping them connected. I mean, the list really does go on and on.
And no veteran dies alone, which is an incredible program. And I think it's very important you need volunteers for programs like that. And it really, like you said, it says it in its title that a veteran in a position where maybe there's no family or somebody there's a volunteer veteran that's going to be there with them and they don't die alone, and be there for them. So incredible programs like that sometimes it's a hard one to talk about. It's a difficult one. And I could see it in your eyes that you've experienced it firsthand. And that's a program that I think is an amazing program. And if you have the time and the heart for veterans and you want to help organizations like that, we're going to post in the thread on Facebook here at AMVETS Department of California, and also on the website at amvetsca.org, details on all the things we're talking about with Lucas Corriea. Lucas, talk to me also about there's hospitality programs. There's all sorts of programs that we've listed, and Mary Golden, she gave us a laundry list of stuff, and I'm sure she didn't mention half of it.
Right. Yeah.
These are the things that you guys are focused on right now. But what are the biggest needs that your organization has in getting veterans involved in what you're doing? The the volunteerism, but what is the biggest need right now?
You know, our biggest need currently is in our Veteran Services Department for that, you know, assisting veterans patient transport within the hospital, as well as the hospitality program. So currently right now we are serving beverages in patient rooms for the inpatients, things like that. You know, we just need more people to be able to help cover and provide all the services that we want to for the veterans. More on the monetary and in-kind donation side. I mean, we're always trying to help homeless veterans and veterans that are enrolled in the social work program. You know, one of the big things we're doing, we've been working with Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association. They've been a great help in trying to assist veterans that need help moving, especially so they don't end up homeless. There's just so many programs. Anytime we get a request from social work or otherwise, can be from palliative care, I mean, you name it, we're going to try to fill that need if the federal government isn't able to step up and take care of that due to them not qualifying or the program just doesn't exist, right? We're going to try to find the money, the resources, and the people to make these things happen for the veterans.
So helping your organization, and I know there's veterans that are watching this, or community leaders, there's people that are watching that want to make a difference and help. We're going to post all that information like we talked about. But one of the things also too is a veteran themselves that finds themselves, or someone that knows a veteran that needs services and needs to be looked at. We'll post information, but how do they go about doing that? What's the first step?
First step would just be reaching out to our office. And like you said, we have an email address, the Vets Serve email address that will be posted, and in our direct office line, that would be the jumping off point. Depending on what the needs are, they'll get routed to myself or Mary. And, you know, we'll strive to do everything we can, you know, to meet any of those needs. We've had some very unique requests over the years, and we rarely have to say no.
Yeah. Hey, one thing I want to hit on too, right at the top of the program here on AMVETS Live, we were talking about how you found yourself coming here and working in this service for veterans. One of the things that was interesting to me is that you felt how your personal situation as a veteran sort of molded to where you are today and serving veterans. There's a lot of compassion behind what you're doing on a daily basis. And what did you initially in your career, what did you set out to do before military took you in a different career path?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of youth, you know, I wasn't really sure. I mean, I knew I wanted to do the Marines, and when not being in the infantry wasn't really or being in the infantry wasn't an option anymore, you know, it was kind of like, well, if I can't blow stuff up, just let me out.
Yeah.
And I really didn't know what I wanted to do, you know, and when I started focusing more on going back to serve in the government, and, you know, I kept going back to that camaraderie that I had in the Marine Corps and wanting to serve my fellow vets. And in the credentialing and privileging, like I said, important job, but you're behind the scenes, you're disconnected. And so for me, this really—
You wanted to be part of the front line.
Right. Yeah. This really appealed to me because every single day, you're literally in the trenches helping veterans. You get to see you know, their gratefulness, you know, the look on their faces, their family members, you know, and really see the impact that you're having on the veterans. So, and our volunteers and our work studies do too, you know, they're right there along, you know, right alongside Mary and I, you know, pitching in, getting it done. And it's definitely the most rewarding job I've had since the Marines.
And I'm sure without sharing names, you can share a story of something that sort of gives you an idea of your organization and what you've done for a veteran here lately.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, there's a great story that just recently actually got highlighted at the AMVETS convention by our director. So Smokey, he was talking with our public affairs officer. He had gotten a call about a veteran stranded in Barstow. And our public affairs officer, you know, hit me up. I didn't even know Smokey was involved. Before I even knew any of the details, I'm already reaching out to Greater LA. I didn't know that Barstow wasn't in Greater LA. I assumed they were. They got me in contact. Right. They got me in contact with Loma Linda because I guess they're in their catchment area. And what was neat is nobody passed the buck. We had a little Teams chat set up. So it was Loma Linda, Greater LA, and myself and Smokey all working to assist this veteran. And Smokey had conveyed that this was probably the most troubled veteran that he had ever encountered in his many years of assisting veterans. May have been drug related, PTSD, unclear. But this veteran was stranded, had a service dog with him, and desperately needed help. And everybody putting their heads together. There was a rehab location that was found. It was kind of one of your, I don't know the right term for ranch rescue or whatnot, with animals kind
Somewhere
of
he
like
can
on a
bring his
farm,
dog. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the ED social worker did some amazing work and be able to talk to this veteran, convince them that it was okay to stay in the hotel that AMVETS provided, while we got everything lined up, got a ride, got the veteran to get into the van and head to the treatment facility. So it's just, one of those things where it's like you get the call and you just go until the mission's done.
Until the mission's done, and it's leaving no veteran behind. Really.
Exactly.
That you're going to be there for them. There's a lot of big events we talked about, and Lucas, one of those events, and you can highlight which one you want to talk about first. But we have these 3 flyers that are going to be posted. Like we said, that's going to be on amvetsca.org. We're also going to put it on to Facebook. We'll upload it here also to Heidi. And if you have any questions too, you can always contact the department, AMVETS Department of California. But what's the big one? I know there's a groundbreaking on Thursday.
Yeah, so we'll kind of go on chronological then. So groundbreaking for a new CVOC, a community-based outpatient clinic, for anybody not familiar with that term. And that's going to be in Visalia. So on Thursday, 2:30, we can post the address for that.
Yeah,
they're having the new groundbreaking for that. It'll be a very special event, being able to provide those services for veterans in the Visalia area without having to come all the way to Fresno. At least the primary care type stuff, and some things that will cut down on commute time and convenience for the veterans.
So breaking ground, and I heard the summer of 2024.
Yes, that's my understanding. So
yeah, great, beautiful.
Yep. And then next week we actually have 2 very big events. Vietnam Veterans Day, Thursday, the 29th. So the first event is Vietnam Veterans of America is having their memorial service there at Clovis Veterans Memorial District. Doors open at 8. Ceremony starts at 9. There'll be a car show, some great program that CVMD and VVA have put together for the veterans. I was a part of the committee last year and this year. Very moving event, and this year's kind of special. This is the first time that the VVA has honored the spouses of veterans, and special honors to the widows of veterans for sticking it out, and widowers, for those that had a female vet serve during Vietnam, for supporting that spouse, all the way to the end. There will be able to post up the flyer, has a QR code, or you can simply call the number that will be listed on the flyer for the Clovis Veterans Memorial District to get registered for you and your spouse. Everybody's receiving certificates and pins. It's just, it's a great event. There'll be food, some marketing boosts from different veteran organizations, Marine Corps League, various
and that
others.
date again, that's March 29th.
March 29th, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Okay.
And one of the other special things that they're including again this year that I found very moving, in watching the Vietnam vets with their families, it was something else. They have a gigantic map that takes up a good portion of a ballroom floor that is Vietnam and the surrounding areas, Laos, Cambodia, even the water around for our blue water vets. You're able to walk on the map, show your family members where you served, and even sign your name and what ship you were on, or what area, what unit you were with, all of those things. And very, very moving. They also have a lot of static displays with some of the weapons from that time, replicas, of course. And both our weapons and the enemies.
And being 50 years, this is 50th anniversary. This is, time has flown by.
Absolutely.
And RED is a veteran and of the Vietnam War. And I know that I hear him talk about his wife being the most important rock that he had during that time. Absolutely. When he came home. And it's amazing. And I think a great thing that we're paying respect to our fallen Vietnam veterans, to the
Absolutely.
widows, but also the wives that
Yeah.
really served.
Yeah.
They served as
Yeah,
alongside
absolutely.
their
My wife can
family.
attest. I mean, anybody, any spouse of a combat vet, it's a challenging job. Whether you were married during or after, doesn't
Yeah.
matter, right? It's a challenge. We have issues unique, and it
Mhm.
takes a strong spouse to be able to support that veteran.
Beautiful. And also we're going to upload, there's a map that gives you details. That'll be information very
Yeah,
important
that
to
one's
this
for,
event.
yeah, this one here, this is for the Fresno Vet Center, their drive-through event. This is, I believe, the third year they've done this since COVID.
Mhm.
They've implemented this drive-through event, which a lot of vets really do love. I believe, in fact, they're calling it this year. Mary, forgive me, I don't know all the details because Mary's been working that one while I work the VVA event.
Yeah.
But I believe they're calling it the Tunnel of Love this time.
Okay.
And it's a great event. The Vet Center is very proud to put it on. And for those of you that don't know what the VA's vet centers are,
Mhm.
it was founded quite a few years back, when one of the directors of the VA, like, or secretary of the VA, I should say, was a Vietnam vet, and was disheartened by the fact that that Vietnam veterans did not trust the VA. So the vet centers were created as an outreach program separate from the VA to get them engaged and gain trust and support, and get them get the services to the veterans that needed it. And so
Yeah.
that still continues today in a much more expanded way than it originally was.
And then also there's a big event coming up a couple months away, but on May 25th.
Yes, actually, there's one more I'd like to speak about
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
So this one's pretty big. This is the first time our VA has done something on a scale. May 6th, and we'll get the details on this as well. May 6th in Madeira, we're going to have a very large outreach event, and it'll
Okay.
be at the VFW Hall. The planning is still a little bit in the infancy, but we'll have more details to come, but we'll have the basics for you guys there. But it'll be a great event. A lot of veteran service organizations out there, all of our outreach programs, whether it's enrollment, Agent Orange, information about like the burn pits and different programs like that, that
Yeah.
a lot of people haven't had access to, right?
Yeah, and Lucas, you'll be getting information from your department over to Heidi Holguin here at the AMVETS Department of California. And again, we'll post it here on the thread on Facebook Live. We'll put it on the website at amvetsca.org. So, and we'll also have Lucas mention that phone number to where you can contact and be able to call and get information that way too. And what is that number, and maybe a website where they can find out information?
So the best way to reach us is just the main hospital line. So 559 225-6100 and extension 5006, I believe. We can confirm that in the chat in a second.
Okay.
That's the main office line.
Perfect. And we'll be posting that information. So if you're waiting with a pen or a pencil to get information, you'll be able to get it in the thread. You'll get it on the website in May. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, the next one up is the 10th annual American Legion Post 147 Clovis. Their Veterans Memorial Day golf tournament. It's not actually on Memorial Day though. It's on Thursday, May 25th. This is one of our biggest supporters throughout the year. All the proceeds go right back to the VA, to our programs that we manage. It's the money that we get from this event helps a lot of veterans, whether it's the supplies that we're buying for homeless veterans, whether that's a veteran that is getting discharged from the hospital, doesn't qualify for government transportation. We're able to, step in if, as long as they don't make like $100,000 or something, right? We're able to step in and help them get home, so it's not a hardship on themselves and their families, and the many other programs that we mentioned earlier. So it's great support. And there's a lot of ways that you can participate in this event as well. I mean, you can come out and actually be one of the golfers, one of the foursomes. You'll see me out there on the golf course, meeting and greeting every single one. And then there's a lot of different sponsorships as well. So ranging anywhere from like $100 to, the sky's the limit, right? So different packages that they have on their website that you can sign up for.
And if you're watching this stream and you're not a veteran, or not a member of AMVETS and you're a VSO, everybody needs to support an organization like what you're doing and serving our veterans alike. And this is a great time for our community. If you're a golfer,
Yep.
you want to put a foursome together with your company, or a couple foursomes, put them together and go out there. Or you
Absolutely.
just haven't been out there whacking the ball in a while because you can't golf in a boat. So
Yeah.
it's you want to come out and have a good time. And during May, I'm sure May 25th, it's going to be a beautiful day out there on that
Mhm.
Thursday. We're calling to the community. So people that support our veterans and will support organizations like what Lucas and Mary is doing with our VA. And we want to encourage you to come out and have a great time with that event.
Absolutely.
And how many people, this is now, how many years? You've done this 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years now.
How many
They cap it
groups you
at
got?
150 golfers total.
Beautiful.
So, and then it's at Belmont Country Club. There's a great dinner afterwards. I mean, it's a really great event and a lot of fun, like you said.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure there's a lot of, at that dinner, there's a lot of fun, excitement and jokes and
Oh yeah,
a
definitely.
lot of prizes and a lot of really good
Oh
things.
yeah,
that
there's
you'll be
the
bringing.
raffles, the whole works. So yeah, it's
Beautiful.
really great.
What do we want to leave everybody with today? The call to action that with delivering information about the good work that you and Mary Golden are doing, Lucas, what do we leave everybody with today?
You know, one of the things that drew me to just public service was, you know, we tend to, you know, look to the government to do everything, you know, especially the federal government these days. And I think we've forgotten that, or at least a lot of people have, that really the intention of our country, our republic, was to handle things very much at a local level. And that means you being active, right?
Yeah.
Not passing that buck on to others. And you know, how rewarding that is, right? There are a lot of people in need. The government can't do everything. And it really takes a village. It takes the community to step up and make things happen. And who more deserving than our veterans, you know, to serve those who served, right?
Yep, absolutely. And we'll have all that information, how you can continue to serve as a veteran today, maybe retired and watching the stream today and wants to engage and be a part of the good work that you're doing. And either they're in need and they need to reach out to your organization, or it's someone they know or a family member. And we always want to call beyond the walls of just our veterans, but to our community. It takes a village to move and move forward. And I think we all have to embrace it and come together and find ways to support organizations like yours.
Absolutely.
Lucas, I appreciate your time
Thank
being
you
on
for having
AMVETS
me.
Live. I'm sure we'll have you back on someday and talking
Absolutely.
about more. There's a lot that we could talk about and what your great organization's doing. And thank you, AMVETS, and everybody, VSOs alike, that tune in every month when we're doing this every third Tuesday of the month at 10 a.m. right here from the Department of AMVETS, Department of California. From Bernadette, Heidi, and Smokey, thank you for hosting it right here in the office. Lucas Corriea with our VA, and we'll see you next month.